my name is Zoe Murphy. Thank you for clicking on this video. In hard times like these, your viewerships help support the arts. Along with that, this is a new rendition of our main senior capstone project. Originally, we were going to perform a series of 5 plays that fall under the category of 50-50 in 2020. This was our attempt at creating an equal playing field for female playwrights, so we, as a class, had picked 5 short plays by females to compose a stage production with. Unfortunately, because of the world crisis, we are all seeing changes to how we must proceed with our lives. As a class, we have come up with this format to bring to you, our audience, theater and art during these uncertain times. This podcast will consist of 7 episodes. Episode 1, this episode, will be an overview of the plays and the general designs and information that we would normally present to the full company. Episodes 2 through 6 will follow each play individually, consisting of Q&As with the directors and designers, a small dramaturgy segment, and a short reading from the play that was to be performed. Our last episode, episode 7, will be a reflection on moving such a large project into a smaller platform and the challenges with technology, teamwork, and creative motivation. We hope you enjoy this short series and get at least a partial fill of theater in these uncertain times. First, we will be starting with the directors, who will share a brief summary of their plays. Michael Sliski is the director of Well Done Poets by Laura Quinn and Rise by Crystal Skillman.
Hello, everyone. As Zoe has stated, my name is Michael Sliski. I am directing indeed Rise by Crystal Skillman and Well Done Poets by Laura Quinn. First, we'll start with Rise. Rise tells the tale of Joy, a young woman arriving at the site of a gorgeous beach wedding without an RSVP. That also happens to be her ex's. Although this could be a very awkward reunion, Joy is surprised to find that her ex Jamie and her ex's fiance welcoming her with open arms and trying to incorporate her despite her unwillingness to join the festivities. Set in the summer of 2013, right after gay marriage was made legal in California, Rise illustrates how the bonds of friendship and kindness can allow everyone to rise up and heal from their past. Next up, we have Well Done Poets by Laura Quinn. Well Done Poets follows 2 drunk young women, Carrie and Beth, and their matron Erin, as they discuss poetry and the lives of famous female poets, more specifically, dead female poets. They are currently trying to decide between Sylvia Plath and Anne Sexton. By discussing these 2 famous dead poets, Beth reveals to Erin why she and Carrie are in a bar at closing time with nothing but a poetry book and a can of red spray paint. Set in 1992, Well Done Poets highlights the sexism that young women face every day and the courage it takes to believe that society can change. Thank you so much, everyone, and I am so excited for you to join us on this journey.
Next up, we have Crystal Heidelbaugh. She is the director of Super Hot Raven and Raven 2, The Ravening by Megan Goggerty.
Hey everyone, my name's Crystal Heidelbaugh, as Zoe said, and I'm the director for Super Hot Raven and Raven 2, The Ravening. The story depicts the story of a young eccentric woman whose recent breakup from her girlfriend Lenore has left her head spinning. The breakup, while tragic, has thrust Poet into her work as a writer. She's become so encapsulated with her own mourning over the breakup that she begins to lose sight of who she was as a poet, writing mostly about Lenore rather than the things that once brought her joy. Poet is looking to write more about her feelings than about what she thinks her audience will like. When Poet returns home from work one day, she discovers that there's a stranger in her apartment brandishing a wrench. Throughout the play, Poet becomes more and more flustered by this super hot, read as confident, girl who remains in her apartment. Raven challenges Poet to think about her choices as a poet, as well as her choices with Lenore. Super Hot Raven and Raven 2, The Ravening, is based off Edgar Allan Poe's poem, The Raven, published in 1845. In The Raven, the poem speaker, who has just tragically lost his love Lenore, is greeted by a raven who appears at his window. Upon opening the window, the bird swoops in and the speaker is at first amused, but becomes increasingly frustrated when the bird says no word other than nevermore. The speaker then asks if he will ever see his beloved Lenore again, to which the raven responds with nevermore, yet again, and then refuses to leave. The similarities between the poem and the play are apparent, though there are several differences. When reaching further into the play, I found it intriguing to believe that Raven was never truly there. Throughout the play, Raven and Poet become close, intimate even, and eventually Raven becomes jealous of Poet's increasingly successful new life. My concept for this play was to have Raven be a representation of depression personified. Raven is the embodiment of Poet's inner turmoil after having broken up with her girlfriend, meaning that Raven is just a figment of Poet's imagination. In the second part of the play, there's a notion of Raven being stuck inside Poet's small studio apartment, which reinforces the idea that Raven is just inside Poet's head. Thanks for listening.
Next, we have Dallas Williams, who is the director of The Hour by Susan Goodell and In the Beginning by Rebecca Ritchie.
Hello. As Zoe said, my name's Dallas Williams, and I'm the director of The Hour and In the Beginning. The Hour by Susan Goodell tells an interesting story of Dexter, who is being interrogated by Daryl for attempting to purchase illegal weaponry. Through a series of miscommunications featuring a mysterious and well-dressed woman named Amber, or Jade, or Crystal, it is discovered what exactly Dexter was purchasing and how this entire mess of a situation came to be. Stay tuned to future episodes to see how memory, punishment, and the daylight savings time mix together to create The Hour. In the Beginning by Rebecca Ritchie, Adam from the Book of Genesis has recently passed away, and a documentary about his life's work and accomplishments is being created. Eve plays a large part in this documentary as his widow, but when a long-forgotten stranger named Lilith seems to just appear where they are recording, Eve hears a new point of view that changes everything she's known. See how complacency, erasure, and strength to recognize faults in those you love come together in Rebecca Ritchie's In the Beginning. Thank you.
All right, so next we're going to hear from our designers who are just going to share a little bit about their designs. First up, we have Stacey Olson, who is our set designer.
Hey everybody! So set designing this festival was no easy accomplishment. There are 5 shows initially to be performed in one night with one set and a low budget. So I decided to employ a tool used in ancient Greek theater called a periactos, which is basically made up of 3 triangular prisms that portray a different picture on each side. With 3 sides and 5 shows, I had to be creative with what shows would share a side. The first slide is for The Hour, which is set in an interrogation room. The walls would be painted with a painted cinder block texture, and there would be an industrial-looking table and chairs. The second side of the periactoi is for Rise and In the Beginning. These shows both take place outside, but on opposite sides of the world. Rise is set on a beach in San Francisco, while In the Beginning takes place in Iran. Both shows are minimal in terms of furniture on the set, so I would have added driftwood and rocks to aid the set in creating an outdoor vibe. The third and final side of the periactoi is for Super Hot Raven and Well Done Poets. Super Hot Raven takes place in an old Victorian apartment that was converted into small apartments, and Well Done Poets takes place in an old college bar. In the following episodes, I will talk more specifically about the set designs for each show, so if you have any questions, please comment or send them to Zoe. Thanks.
Next, we have Cassie Sand, who is the costume and hair and makeup designer.
All right, so like Zoe said, I'm the costume and hair and makeup designer, and I'm just gonna go through all of my designs by show. So my first show was In the Beginning. So this show was set in Iraq, so I needed some long, flowy dresses and shirts and things like that. Eve is also going to have this red shawl to symbolize her gaining her independence from Adam. And then we got Rachel. So she was the film director. I wanted her to have this kind of hat, this little handkerchief, and a nice loose bun in the back. And then she was going to have paper bag pants. Then the next character, Lilith. So Lilith is kind of more this hip, older woman. She wears a lot of black. She's very hip for her age. She has glasses, jewelry, and then long white hair. So then going on to The Hour. So the first character is Dexter. He's more nerdy. He has glasses. I wanted him to have a Doctor Who t-shirt because this play is all about different time and problems with that. And then he has a fancy wristwatch that is not digital, it is analog, and that's very important for the play. And then we have Daryl. So the character of Daryl, he switches between a cop and then the stereotypical bad guy. So as a cop, he has his little plaid shirt, he has a badge, he has his handcuffs, things like that. And then when he's a criminal, he has his hoodie, and then he has specifically a weird hat. Then going on to Amber, so she would have a red dress. It's very business-like. She would also have this black bob wig and black heels and then pearls. And she also switches characters, so she would have that black blazer to switch between different characters. Okay, and then going on to Rise. So Joy, I wanted her with like this nice flowy blue wrap dress. And she doesn't have a lot of time to get ready, so her hair is kind of like in loose waves, not really in any particular style, and then natural makeup. Next one is Jamie. So Jamie is going to have this like long pantsuit with lace in the front, and it would be kind of with mint green accessories. So that's why you see all these mint green images here. And then her hair kind of had this low bun again, and then these jewels all throughout her hair, probably with some more of those mint green accents as well. And then Anna. So this one is more abstract because I was going to build a mermaid dress. It would have these blue and purple green scales for the bodice, and then this loose flowy skirt, and then these mermaid heels, as you can see on the bottom here, and then all these jewelries, and so necklaces, rings, things like that, all made from like seashells, and other things that have to do with the ocean. And then Super Hot Raven and Raven 2 the Ravening. First character is Poet, so she would have this black dress with accents of purple in her out, so this like purple rain jacket, and then she would have purple in her eye makeup there, and then have these more chunky necklaces and knee-high black velvet boots. And then Raven, so in the script it calls for a specific Baltimore Ravens jersey. So we were going to make a customized one with Raven on the back of it, and then the number 6. And then she would have black ripped jeans, Vans, and a backwards hat. Then going on to Well Done Poets. So the character of Aaron, he would have this really cool, funky shirt, and then this half apron because he's a waiter for the bar. And then he would have this 90s stereotypical part in the middle, long hair, and then just some white tennis shoes. Then going on to Beth. So she's going to have this kind of more chunky sweatshirt tucked into jeans, and then have that little chain on the side, and then have some of those funky socks, and then a nice chunky belt. And then for the hair, she would have those little 2 ponytails, and then the 2 braids in the middle. And then Carrie. So she was going to have these nice, funky kind of pants, not really jeans, just kind of like a fun pattern, and then a really big, oversized windbreaker, and then really, really big curly hair, and that nice choker there, and some fun little bracelets. Thank you.
Next, we have Katrina Seek, who is the lighting designer.
So when thinking about a festival, there are many questions to consider. So how similar do shows look? How distinctive will they be? Will there be things that tie them together, or are they all unique? Festival of Short Plays 2020, 50/50 in 2020 will include 5 plays that should all be dynamically different as seen through the lighting. So the first show in the beginning takes place with a view of the Persian Gulf on a warm summer day. To help indicate that this takes place outside, we would be using tree gobos. And the idea of green comes up a lot throughout the show. So Lilith and Eve are discussing the story of Adam and Eve, a story of sin and greed, and they mentioned that Eve's infamous apple is green. So to start off the show, the lights would be really heavy with greens, and to showcase Eve's growing awareness to the erasure of her story, and her complacency throughout her life, we would slowly remove the greens, leaving a brighter, more natural outside valley look. Moving on to In the Hour takes place in 2 different locations, the bar and the police interrogation room, and requires a quick shift between the two. So the police interrogation room should give the appearance of a stark white light, and the bar should be warmer and dimmer since they aren't clear about the events of the night. Details that are being recounted aren't clear, but it's clear that some sort of exchange was taking place, and this invokes images of red and deep blues in a smoky bar, casting shadows on the faces of those involved. So Well Done Poets takes place in a quiet college bar, which means there should be dim lighting. The lighting should not have reds and blues like In the Hour, because the action of the show isn't shady. And near the end of the show, as the bar is closing, the lights should brighten to not only show that the bar is closing, but also to show Beth's coming to terms with needing to know her kind. Super Hot Raven takes place in a dim apartment on a dark and stormy night. So Poet is in a state of depression, which is shown through the dismal weather outside. At the start of the show, Poet runs in while Raven is in the dark. With the clap of thunder, Raven is illuminated. To help show that Raven isn't really a person and is a personification of Poet's depression, the lighting that happens shouldn't be realistic. It should be unnatural, so we were thinking purple. In conjunction with props and some of the dim lighting, it would come from the candles in wine bottles scattered around the room. To accentuate that we are in Poet's head, the lighting can come from behind the audience and shine into the center so that it's surrounding the audience and engulfing them in the whole production. And then Rise. So when I read Rise, I thought of the perfect Instagram photo with the perfect filter that makes everyone jealous, but behind the filter is actually a much bigger, possibly more tragic story. So the lighting would have been a little bit before the golden hour of photography, because Anna probably planned her perfect wedding to happen during the golden hour. So at the end, when everybody is dancing, beautiful golden lights would illuminate to show the love and warmth and healing of the show. If we had planned to bring the audience into the show to make them dance, then we could have illuminated the entire audience as well. Thank you.
Thank you for watching our first episode of our senior capstone project. We hope you'll tune in on Friday, April 24th to learn more about the plays. We also invite you to engage with us and ask questions in the comments below. You may also email your questions directly to me at zoe.murphy, M-U-R-P-H-Y, at my.simpson.edu, and we will try to answer as many as we can. Thank you.